Welcome back to the channel. My name is Patrick, and in today's video I'm going to discuss what happens when you miss an opportunity. Sometimes in trading this happens, but the key is to be patient and wait for the next setup. So in this video I'm going to show you what happened when I missed my opportunity and how I responded. If you find this useful, you know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned and support the channel. Okay, let's get busy.
Okay, so where to start? Okay, so I'll show you the move I missed, and I'll tell you how I found it, and I'll show you how I responded when I missed the move. So if you've been watching my previous videos, we were looking at price from down here, okay? And it's been trending ever since. And I said in those videos that you could call entries from here, all based on the H1 time frame. So price pushed up, pull back in, could call that, pushed up, pull back in, could call that. So this was the flag and pole strategy that I mentioned, which started from a reversal point from down here, right? So as you know, I scout some of these moves, and what I wanted was price to get back up to this region here, this area where it sent it down, and I had a pending order set here somewhere. I'll show you that in a second, right? So that's what I was looking for. I was looking for price to get here and then potentially beat these highs. So what happened? So price did push up. It got all the way up to this zone here, as you can see here. It got all the way up to this zone, and what it did. So first, I did get my scalp from here, by the way. But price got all the way up here to these highs now, because it's reversed, and I said it potentially could beat this high and go for a higher that's on the higher time frame, but this will be the ultimate target, right? So what happened? Price got here and it created a double top. Now I don't trade double tops or double bottoms or any of those things, and I don't trade support and resistance because I just look at it as liquidity sitting up here, right? Because this is where people are placing their stops loss, right? So when price did that, I was quite shocked that it went down. Okay, so this is why some people trade it, but it's not for me. I don't trade it. It doesn't hold all the time. I was quite shocked it went down so far. It gave a really, really big move for someone who trades support and resistance. It gave 134 points, 134 pips. For me, that's what wasn't. I was not interested in that because I knew we were trending up. There was no reason the trend would have ended. So when price was pulling down here, I was looking for a reason to take it back up, or looking for an entry to take it back up. So that was my first zone. This was the last demand that took it up. However, this is also sitting on a what would you call this? A support, right? So this is again support and resistance. So we've got equal lows all over here. Underneath here, this is where people place their stop loss. So when I trade supply and demand, I do not trade setups when there's equal lows, when there's a liquidity pool underneath it or above it. That's not for me, okay? And as you can see, this is what happens, and this is what typically happens, and that's why I don't want to trade this setup up here, because this is what typically happens. Price runs out all the early buyers here, and then it reverses, okay? So what I was looking for was this move, but I wasn't looking for it from this demand, and I couldn't see any other demands here. So there was one down here, but I don't believe it's going to go all the way down here. So what I did actually was switch to the higher time frame. I went to D1 to see if I could find an entry, right? So this is where price was. These are the equal lows, the equal highs, sorry, that I mentioned up here. And price here pulled down on this candle here. So I was looking for an entry based on this price action here. So again, I don't trade support and resistance, but as you see, it does work, and especially on higher time frames, it can work as well. But I'll show you how I use it. So price pulled all the way down here, and I'm looking at this demand that pushed it up, and I'm looking for a key area to that price could turn around at. Okay, so if we from this if we just look down, if we put the way I do it, I just drag it down. I'm looking like, okay, where can it bounce from? Can it bounce from there? No, not really. Can it bounce from there? Yeah, it could. Or can it bounce from there? This is more likely. Why? So you got resistance here, resistance there, resistance there, which was support before, which was support before. For me now, again, I don't trade support and resistance, but what I use it, how I use it is look at this now as a key price point. This is a 1.0801. So I look at it as a key price point. Every time price came here, it reacted. So I look at it as a key area for a potential reversal. So when price pulled all the way down in this candle here into this demand zone, I looked for a key area, found it there, and that's where I was looking to take my trade. Okay, so let's go back to M15 now. So what I tend to do is wait for my setup now. So I've got my key area. This is the line here. It was in a demand zone. We just pulled down and we got our potential TP, which is these equal highs. So as you can see, it played out really nicely. It came here, hit the key area. Let's zoom in a little bit more. It hit the key area here, bounced off it, got underneath it, and then pulled up aggressively, beating this last supply zone here. So for me, that was confirmation that I had read it right, that I could find an entry here and then try one those equal highs that was left there, right? So, however, what happened? So what I would typically wait for is, this is the left shoulder, this will be the head, that's the key area. So I'm waiting for price to pull up and pull back down. As you can see, it never did that, not even a smidge. Normally, if I don't get the left shoulder, I will get entry based off this high here. As you can see, it never did that. Price was just moving too aggressively and it ran off without me. And from that key area, which I was considering getting in from, but again, don't trade support and resistance, I need confirmation that this is a reversal pattern, and confirmation for me will be when price pulls back into this zone, and it never did that. So I didn't take that trade. So from that key area to where price, where I was aiming for, that was a 127 pip move. Where it's currently at, it's about 170, 175 pips. So I missed that opportunity. I'm, really slightly upset about missing that, but I can't just jump in every single key area and hope, because where am I gonna place my stop loss? How am I gonna calculate my risk? I can't do none of that, and you can't do that consistently. And this doesn't happen consistently where price does not pull back into that zone. So price had an agenda, it went off. How do we respond? Okay, so some people may try to get in on any pullback. So there's a pullback here, you could try to get in there and ride the trend, because this is now trending. Pulls up, flags down, pulls up, flags down. But this isn't how I trade flag and pull, so that wasn't my entry. So what I decided to do instead was stick to what I do best. So I went to H1 and I was looking for scalps. So this is the trend, I'm looking for a counter trend scalp, because for me that's a lot easier to see. So right here we have an imbalance here, we have our key area here, and as you can see, when price hits it here, it drew us down by about, 2 pips, and it gave us our TP 15 pips. My TP is 10 pips when I'm scalping, so it gave me my 10 pip scalp just there based on this imbalance. So that was straightforward. So I missed that move, but I responded by getting the scalp on that same day. The following day, what had happened is it continued its uptrend, which it's been doing. So flag and pull again, pulled up here, flags down, pulls up now, and now it's beat these equal highs that I was aiming for in the first place, right? So it's beat those equal highs. So what happens then? Price could turn around, which it did. It pulls all the way back down, and it pulls into this demand, which beat those equal highs that broke structure. So for me, this is a good buy. So I zoom in again, and I'll show you my entry. So M15. So this is the demand that pushed it up, and then it pulls down. So I'm looking for an entry here to potentially continue this uptrend. So where's my entry? My entry is based on this guy here, where structure was broke. So what I did on M5 actually, this is how I tend to enter trades when I haven't set a pending order. So I didn't set a pending order for this. I did this as a market order, so manually I waited for this entry. So that's our zone here. This is our key area. So price could react from this point, the first touch of this point here, yeah. So what I did, as price pushed down here on this 5-minute candle, I waited for it to almost close. So imagine 5 minutes. On the 4th minute, I entered my trade. So as you can see, it's within our zone here. It's underneath that line, so that's within our zone. On the 4th minute, I entered my trade. So I entered my trade roughly here, and then the open of the new 5-minute candle was a buying candle, and it took me up and it gave me my 10 pips there. Okay, so I was able to scalp that 10 pip move there, and I got out. Now initially I said to you this move could potentially continue and continue the trend, right? And that's what I wanted from this entry. But when I saw it pulling back here, down here, I had a runner, by the way. I saw it pulling back down there. I closed my runner and I left it alone. And the reason I didn't hold this move, even though it didn't run my stop loss, which would have been just underneath this candle here. It didn't run my stop loss. The reason I didn't hold this move is because news was due out at this time, and as you can see, news actually helped this pair. It could have went against it, and I was anticipating it going against it for some reason, but it because news is just volatile, it could just done enough to get me out, then went that way. And it didn't get me out. It held that demand zone, and it went by 84 pips. So I missed that move, but I was able to get my scalp. So there's two big moves I missed. One was 170 or 130 pip move. The other was 84 pips. But I was able to get my 2 scalps, which is my bread and butter, which is something I could do quite easily. And I was able to do that and make 2 scalps. I placed about, basically I made about $500 from each scalp. So I was able to make $1,000 from those 2 scalps. I missed these big moves, but those 2 scalps, plain and simple, made me $1,000. I don't know about you, but $1,000, I'm happy with that. I'll be happy with this bigger move, but sometimes that's all the market gives you. If it doesn't give you the setup you're after, you just have to let it go. Wait for your next setup and continue, you know. And that's what I've done, and that's what I'm doing now. There's a setup potentially here, but price is just messing around, and I just don't trust this. I know there's news due, and I think it's just consolidating, generating liquidity up here, and it's gonna chop up a lot of people's stop losses, and maybe it moves down to this demand zone here. If it does, I'll be waiting, and that's what this is really about. Look at your setups, be patient, wait for it, and when they do come, you take them. If you miss the opportunity, don't go chase a price. It's the easiest way to lose accounts. I remember when I first started trading, that's what I used to do. I saw price leaving without me, I'll jump in, it pulls down, gets me out, or I get scared and get out and stuff like that. Don't go chasing price. You missed the opportunity there, cool, there's your scalp. Missed the opportunity, missed the opportunity there, cool, wait, because there could be another scalp as well. Okay, so I'm waiting to see price to pull down here eventually. I don't know if it's going to be today or following day. When it pulls down here, I'm looking for a scalp to get that bounce, maybe to continue the uptrend. Don't know, maybe not. Where price is now on the daily is at a high based on this was the last high here, and that sent it back down. It pulled back up here, and I'm expecting some kind of reversal pattern to pull this down. And if it does pull it down, it maybe goes to the entry that I'm looking for, bounces off there, continues to beat this, or it could potentially go all the way down to do something nasty and beat these. I don't know, but what I do know is finding a 10 pip scalp using my strategy is a lot easier than trying to predict what the market is doing. Okay, so that's how I bounce back from missing these opportunities, and hopefully you can learn from this. Don't chase price, you know, just be patient, wait for your next setup. Okay, hope you appreciated that. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to stay updated with the progress and support the channel. Okay, Patrick signing out. Until next time, peace.